Alright, I just got home from the gym. I'm gonna go shower, I'm gonna change, and then let's get into the video, the long version of how we edit a podcast. Let's do it. Alright, in this episode, I'm gonna take you how the process that I go, the workflow that I do to edit a podcast. This is the longer version. The last video was on a quick edit, but I'm gonna take you to the longer version, show you how I find files for music, what programs I use exactly, what equipment am I using. The full process of a podcast takes a bit, but let's get right into it. Now, obviously, the most popular way to do podcasts is to record via Skype. This is one of my main ones, and you should definitely try that out. Now, if you're using Skype, you might as well use the MP3 to Skype recorder. It is the best way to record your programs. I try to use 2 or 3 different devices to record, but this is going to be your main one, MP3 to Skype recorder. One program I like to use for recording podcasts is actually Mumble. It's a gaming server that my friend Evan put me onto, and it's something you should definitely try. It sounds so much clearer than Skype, but it's a little bit more difficult to get your friends to join in and download this program, but it's worth a try. Another good program to have, especially if you're using your recorder from your computer to record music or sounds, is the M4A to MP3 converter. This is important to make sure you can use the files on Audacity or other editing programs. Alright, another program we use, and one of the most important ones, is Audacity. I use this for everything editing-wise and making songs, making clips, but this is your go-to program. Now, one of my recommended programs is actually the Levelator. This is important. It's imperative to make sure your sound levels are equal for all parties involved. It's also important to make sure when you're recording songs or sound bites to save them somewhere where you can easily locate them. Here are mine. I have obviously several hundreds of MP3s that I use quite often, so it's good to keep in your back pocket. Well, that's how I edit a podcast. It takes a bit of time. It can take really, if you start from scratch and I'm really being finicky about my edits, it could take up to 3 hours. But really, I try to within an hour and a half, depending on how fast the rendering times are. But it takes a bit of time, especially if you're looking for files from scratch, especially for music and anything else you're trying to get for the podcast. So it's not for the faint of heart. Absolutely not. I mean, podcasts take as time as it is just to record as itself, and then you can take basically double that time to edit the podcast, right? So then upload it up to SoundCloud, iTunes, or whatever streaming service you want to upload it to, YouTube per se. But yeah, that's how it goes. Tell me your thoughts. What does your workflow look like? Leave a comment. Let me know. I'm really curious if there's a fast way to do it from scratch. The last video I had was a quick edit, and that took a half hour to do. But a full edit like this from scratch, sometimes you don't have the files on hand, so you got to do everything from scratch, and it takes a little time. So let me know. Tell me your thoughts. As always, follow this page. Follow our Serious Sit Down page on YouTube, and then as well follow both Serious Sit Down and Shaka 04 podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. Obviously, subscribe to those podcasts as well. End of the season. This is we just finished wrapping up this last podcast for Serious Sit Down. That's the end of the podcast for this summer, unless some breaking crazy news happens. But until the fall, you probably hear Frank and I
now and then again, depending on what's going on. A lot of coaching moves, so it's very possible you can hear from us. So until then, I will see you soon. Keep an eye on this page. Serious Sit Down. Won't be as much going on there, but on this page, I'll try to provide content throughout the summer until the podcast season comes back. So, yeah. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you thought, and hit that like button.